My question about my inner being would be, and I desperately hope that you can perceive my question without me having to describe it too much, which I'm sure you can.
That desperation will be hard for us to make our way through. Can you lighten up a little bit? Can you give it a rest?
Can I give what a rest? The desperation? Okay. My question is about, I'm very satisfied with my inner being and my relationship with it. In many ways, it seems of a similar nature to what Esther, Abraham experienced, although maybe it's totally different.
It's similar, and the more you are allowing it to continue to expand, the more like it is. Your relationship with your inner being is just a budding relationship. You're just getting to know one another. Esther hasn't even begun to allow us to assist her in the ways that are possible, because she's still hung up on her humanness to a certain extent, and so are you.
Why is my inner being seemingly, most people talk about, flowers and roses and beautiful things. My inner being seems to be very...
Don't let others define what's nice for you. Don't let others and their words that may be aligned words or not, don't let them dictate to you what is wanted by you. Let your emotions guide you.
So the inner being that I'm speaking of, which I'm sure that you perceive on, that is my inner being, because it seems very, it's magical, it's powerful, but it's extremely, well, I'll lay it out there. It takes the form of a dragon very often. It's very powerful, very vicious, but beautiful.
You translate it that way because of its power. Everything is coming through your interpretation. So the block of thought that you are receiving, because there are very few humans who are physically around you, who are connecting with this energy and allowing it to flow. And so your mind had to make it something really unusual. And so you used all of those elements of power and speed and force and stamina and intensity and all of that. You see what we're getting at?
Mm-hmm.
It's your translation. It's your way of describing.
So that energy is still my inner being then.
And it's pure positive energy.
Okay. There's no, in everything, I mean, I've experienced it a long, long time, and it has never showed me anything aside from its divineness. It just takes a very strong form.
Again, we'll reflect that back to you. It's your way of saying my inner being is more powerful than anything I've witnessed in physical form. And we say, of course it is. Everyone's got that dragon within them, that eagerness to go, and that it's the power of it, it's the strength of it, it's the longevity of it, it's the eternalness of it. Yeah.
The last question would be it's all related though. You talk very often about the movements that through the body, from, I guess you know what I'm talking about. Whenever this energy comes through me and I can summon it at will, I don't have to wait for meditation and stuff, but in meditation it happens. The body movements in mine can be extremely, they can be subtle, but they can be extremely dynamic. They come to me when I need them.
When you allow them.
What is the purpose of those movements? What is your definition of what those are for? Because I know a lot of people here experience those.
The most important thing to know about them is that it is evidence that you are out of the way and allowing the impulse to be received. It's the same conversation that we had earlier when there was confusion about the difference between a thought and an impulse. We're always deliberate in the way we offer these blocks of thought to Esther so that she can find words that will not mislead you in this sense. We never want you to feel like you are puppets on a string. We never want you to feel like you are just opening up and letting go and letting something else live through you. That's why we enjoyed so much this conversation about who's leading, who's doing the leading. In other words, you are. In your physical form, you are the one out here on the leading edge, asking the leading edge questions and finding the leading edge desires and doing the summoning from the resources of all that is. Not all that has been, all that is. And so as you allow yourself to acknowledge that your contrast, your newness has caused the desire within you, and that desire within you has done the summoning, And now you're completing the equation. You're balancing your energy, not only by having the desire that is attractive in nature, that is causing law of attraction to respond, but now you are monitoring and contouring your beliefs, your thoughts, you're giving it a rest, you're letting things go, you're quieting your mind through meditation. In other words, you're learning through your emotional center to balance this energy within you. And as you do that, then you unite with your inner being, and together we go into this place that is new. It's like you reuniting with your soul and doing it deliberately. And until you do, your inner being will not create your reality without your participation. Your inner being will not make you a puppet and cause you to live a life that your own personal in this now moment intentionality is not a part of. You see what we're getting at? This is your life, and you get to choose it with all of the support of all of the energy that creates worlds with you. That's some big dragon, isn't it? In the sense that there's big time power within that, you see. Being a creator is a wonderful thing. Being a deliberate creator is the only way that you're ever happy in the process of it. And not being deliberate, you can't stand that. You don't like the limpness of just sitting around and observing and not defining anything or making a decision about anything. Isn't it so much better for you when life helps you to decide, even if you're not capable yet of being true to your own decision? Doesn't it feel good to make a decision? And don't you really like it when that decision is something that you own? And don't you like it even more when the decision that you made, that you've practiced owning, now is reflecting outwardly into your life with evidence? Yeah. Creation is fun, and creators must create, and you are creators who must create. Nothing less than that will do, you see. You just can't phone it in. You can't. You're here. The fact that you are here is evidence of who you are. And now, if you are to be happy, you've got to exercise your ability to direct your thoughts. And when you do, feelings of well-being come over you, feelings of satisfaction, feelings of clarity, feelings of right place, right time. You get in sync with the universe. Everything works for you. A sort of magic surrounds you.
Is it possible for me to achieve a verbal connection with my inner being? Because up to this point, that has not been my type of.
Of course.
Just ask for it and expect it.
That's the answer to everything, isn't it?
Have you got any advice for me personally about how to expedite my process here?
Well, we're not going to say to you to give it a rest, because you're enough in balance. In other words, everything that we said to you, you received it as we said it, and that's really a nice thing. That's one of the most satisfying conversations, is when you identify something that you're not quite in alignment with, and then we chew together and the alignment sort of happens as we're having the conversation. And so we're just encourage you to just continue on as you are. Be easy about it, and maybe a little less determined. You know that feeling of eagerness that you feel as you are approaching the top of the cliff or the peak of a mountain, and you know it's going to be a good view. You know it is. But every time there's an eagerness that comes over you as you find that newness. It's that feeling that you want to encourage. That's the feeling that we want all of you to feel. Some of the peaks, by comparison with other people, they're small peaks. But when it's a new one for you, your inner being celebrates as if it were the highest peak that anyone had ever achieved at any time, you see. Because everything that you are living is new unto this universe. And so when you allow yourself to have a new experience, and you feel that feeling of passion or exhilaration that you often feel, that's your inner being experiencing this newness with you. And newness with you is new unto the universe. It doesn't matter how many other people have had a new experience. Newness with you is new unto the universe. It matters. It matters to all that is. And therefore it should matter to you too. Yeah. Enough?
Thank you. Dog question again. We talked about Tucker the other day. I was in the seminar in Rome, and a lot of things happened because of dogs. And I said to myself, I need to get myself a dog. And I did.
Someone in that seminar, big room, lots and lots of people and not very much time, and a rather keen awareness that this person might not be able to get into the hot seat. And so he said, I just thought about my dog. And when he did, he just lighted up. In other words, for a moment, he was the only one we could see in the room. And so he told that conversation from the hot seat, and then the next several people who we found were just thinking about their dogs. It was their way of picking a subject that is easy to be wide open about. And in that wide openness, the established intention was satisfied instantaneously. That was the point of all of that, wasn't it?
Yes, and I was thinking about my dog while, before coming here.
Well, it worked, didn't it?
It did, yeah. But as we always say, there's contrast in everything. And now it's my constant thought that, I had to leave him with a friend, my sense of freedom.
So now you've turned a pure positive thought into a burden.
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You had to leave your dog. You're worried about your dog. Is your dog missing you? Is your dog eating well? Your dog's not doing any of that with you.
No, I know. But there are other aspects as well, because I'm not worried about my dog. I'm worried about my reactions to having him around, and I also become very...
Well, it doesn't matter what excuse you're using. Would you accept that the subject of dog is not just pure positive energy now?
Yeah.
You have to, because they all just heard you. And so how are you going to clean that up? How are you going to clean that up? By focusing on the positive aspects, by caring about the way you feel, by being aware of whether it's a high-flying feeling when you focus upon it or a feeling of responsibility or something else. You see? You can easily clean it up, or you can choose another subject. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you use as your object of attention. The important thing, and the thing we like so much about this discussion, the thing we like so much about your awareness of all of this, is that something that was connecting in nature is now not as connecting as it once was. Maybe you've climbed that peak a few times, and maybe you need to find a new way of looking at it.
Do I need to find a new way?
If you find a subject that makes you feel great, and you focus on that subject and you feel great, and you focus on that subject and you feel great, and you so focus on that subject and you feel great, and there are lots of things you could think about. Don't feel so great, don't feel so great, don't feel so great. Oh, that subject makes me feel great. And then in time, that subject makes me feel a little less great because I've decided to make myself feel more responsible or something, or guilty or something. Then you either need to clean up that subject or find another subject that makes you feel great.
Right, but I do feel great when I think of him and I look after him and we spend time together.
You see, no matter how good a friend is, it's still a little bit of a conditional way of going about it. And so what we've noticed is really the reason that we teach meditation rather than dogs. In all the seminars that we have experienced together with all of you, we talk a lot about meditation. We hardly ever tell you to go get a dog. And it's not because going and getting a dog is a bad idea. It's just that meditation is a sure way, and a dog is like every other condition. It can turn on you. Your inner being never does. When you find that quieted place and you allow your mind to quiet and you allow your vibration to rise and you connect with your inner being is current in your life, in your now, and it will always be fresh and exhilarating. And no other subject is like that. No other person is like that. No other relationship is like that. As lovely as these relationships with your dogs are, is the purest form that's in physical form, but it's not like your inner being. Helpful?
Very much.
We've enjoyed this interaction.
Can I just say, Louis Hay passed away the same day that Wayne Dyer passed away 2 years ago. Has that got any significance?
Only that it was on her mind. Now they're partying together. So much that they would both like to say to all of you. Oh, not now. Not now. Directly to you. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. There is great love here for you.